You don't open it before 10 minutes. That's the rule. Um, okay, so in summary, negotiation principles. We summarize negotiation principles. First, you must go in the negotiation believing that there is a solution. Because if you're going there saying, well, maybe we're going to find a solution, or maybe we don't know. I mean, students have risen up, they are all in arms. No, we need our grades. The assessment results are not. And sometimes the students will tell you, you tell them, come to a meeting, they'll be like, no meeting, give us our grades, then we can talk later. You know, those situations, like, no, civil servants, no. And people in your company, they're like, no, madam, we have been telling you our conference, you don't listen. We are the ones working at this restaurant and bringing the money. So, no discussion. Raise it. Just tell us that you have raised it, we can come and sit down and talk. What do you talk about when you're raising good discussion? Right? So you also negotiate for audience, you also negotiate for that. So go in there believing that there is a solution. And go in there striving to show your concern about the interest of the other person. Ask why they're interested in what they're asking. So create a solution of interest for both and do it together and cultivate and maintain a good relationship. Sometimes good relationships are more valuable. So when we talk about values, not only money, sometimes it can be just making sure that you're strengthening the relationship between you and the other party. Value comes with your partner, and the partner is the best opportunity to negotiate agreement and make it easier for them to accept and harder to reject. Make your offer so appealing that they cannot reject. They have to just accept it. And that's what I'm going to do. And then choose the appropriate style for the occasion. I think the other very important aspect there that we spoke about is focus on the person and not the problem. So here you are looking at the attitude that you are bringing into the negotiation. But beware of a disease. There's a few diseases that are related to negotiation. One of them is the winner's curse. The winner's curse is where I'll talk about that now or maybe now. The winner's curse is where after negotiation you feel like after I would have voted you. But hey, excuse me, no, I think can we negotiate it? Can we sit again because no, I forgot. It's called a winner's curse. You think that you can just get more and more like she's very easy, she's very easy. I think I can just walk. Actually, some of us are victims of that. People look at us and they're like, yeah, I can go and just get more. And they come to get more. You get more. And they come back again and you get more. What's the problem? Come on. You should see value in yourself. So effective negotiation, this is the summary of the summary on principles of negotiation. Effective negotiation is largely about attitude and less about style. Jeff Keller wrote a book there, and he says, attitude is everything. When I'm employing people, I'm looking for attitude first and skills next. Qualification last. First, I'm looking for attitude. And I think the hardest time I spend with anyone who works for me is to deal with an attitude when I find that I missed it when recruiting, I didn't read the attitude well. That's a falling with interviews. You're meeting this person. That's why I see as organizations that do one interview and another one and another one. Because some people are very good at masking things. They come to that interview and look like they are the best, the kindest, the mostly, committed and a reliable person you will ever think of on planet Earth. Hey, walk out of that interview and see how you're going to interact with the watchman who is out there. I thought of a story of an interview. Someone had to fly, they had to be flown to the US. When they landed at the airport, there was a guy that received them, take them into the car, and then this guy was going for a very important job, very high paying job, and it was a very competitive job. And this guy went in there. Hey, are you the one who's supposed to receive me? I've been looking around for you. What are you? Come on, by time. I need to get the hotel, get prepared for the interview tomorrow. And these guys are told them, really sorry, where's the bag? The bag is there, as you can see. He takes the bag, goes and puts it in the car, goes from there, they take it to the hotel, the next day they go to the interview, they have failed. Because the interview had started right when they landed. And that driver was with them. Why? Do they not have the skills? They are using the skills that they are the best in that field. They are using the natural attitude. Bad attitude towards drivers, here we don't treat drivers like that means so you can fail an interview, you can win or against. You can also get a salary raise, you can get a good outcome of a negotiation because of your attitude. So attitude is very, very important. Please, if you know that you have a bad attitude, work on it. That's your biggest assignment. From today on, negotiate with yourself, please, to develop a good and positive attitude. That's what you need more than anything else. Okay, let's go to the last part of our session now. But maybe before we do that, any questions, quick ones? Or any need for clarification anywhere? We need to go quickly and finish. We're going to take a break, but those who are online, I see people are online now, so if they're there, they will be as if I need to know. YouTube. So we'll just run quickly and try and finish. Any questions or comments? Or compliments or complaints? Okay, if there's no questions, can we proceed to the last part of our. Now, so this is what the majority wanted. Effective negotiation styles and attitudes there. What are they? But remember the summary, we're just coming from the summary. We said effective negotiations are about 70% attitude and 30% the rest. Others, like I said, say it's 10% style. Attitude is one of them. I can guarantee you. Even in your relationship, if you're married, attitude matters. Attitude towards the children, attitude towards the wife, towards the husband, it can get you things that get you places. Sometimes I walk in places and spaces where we are full of us, shall I use the word competing for an opportunity, and I just look around, I assess the attitude, and I get to myself, where's my attitude? And then I ask myself, what are you going to do if you really want to get yourself? So I up my attitude, I drop a few things, I get it. If I don't get it, I come back and reflect, and I realize, I didn't really get it. And I get it at that. So it's very, very, very important. But negotiation styles, you know, I used to play football a long time ago when I was young. Now I'm old, I think. Or no? Yeah, a little bit older than I was. Yes. Yeah. How do you deal with that attitude that has been treated an environment? Yeah, that's a very good question. In fact, let me say this principle of life. What someone does to you matters less than how you react. So life will always try and throw mud at you as much as it will throw opportunities as well. It will bring you closer and bring you closer. So remember what we said earlier on, the universe or the ambience out there is full of things and situations that are undesirable acceptable, unacceptable, intolerant, or intolerant. So you have things, situations, and people that are undesirable. Some people you can't sit with them for 2 minutes. They're like nobody really wants to stay close to them. So that's the world for you. This world is not a better place to live, but you can create your own environment. That someone does to you matters less. This is why the problem is not always, in most cases, not with the other person. That's why they usually say when you're saying it's you, one finger is pointing at them, 3 are pointing at you. The other one is like, do you realize what you're doing? This one. Does it go with this one? No. Do you realize what you're doing and saying? It's you who is the problem. The difference. So you must find a way of dealing with the situation. And the moment you tell yourself, it's not my problem, you have lost the battle. You can't work on your attitude. In fact, when something adverse comes up, someone says something bad or does something bad, there is an opportunity for you to check your attitude and work on your attitude. I'm a Christian, so I believe in the Word of God and I believe in men of God. There's a prophet who said, the greatest force on earth is love. Even the person who hates you. That's why Jesus said, love your... He didn't say love your buddies. You should love who? Your enemies. It's an attitude that you present to them. When you love your enemies, you defeat them. That's why when you're coming in a negotiation, again, you are loving your opponent. That's how you win. You are saying, I'm interested in what you are interested in. How can we help us get value out of this? Did I answer it somehow? Yeah. So that's how you deal with it. But we can talk more, I think, maybe one-on-one on this one. Where were we? What were we talking about? Okay. Yeah, negotiation style. So, I was about to say that, yeah, although we are saying that it's more about attitude 90% or so, I like to say 70%, because styles still matter, but it's 30%. So you can give it a range. 10% to 30% is about styles. So what I was about to say is that I was a footballer when I was very young, and I was very good. I think by now I would have been better than Messi or something like that. But I was pretty good, by the way. I'm not just making this one up. I was really good. I could be anywhere and you'd be in trouble. So if I was in front, be sure that you're gonna go back home with 5-6 goals. If I was the goalkeeper, forget about scoring. If I was a defender, forget about that ball passing, unless if it was beyond my height. So that's how good I was. And I'm not just joking. I was really good. I think, and then I have a problem with my legs, so maybe God knew that if I would be a better Messi. But maybe I would have developed my life better, I'm not sure. I think maybe I'm okay with what I'm doing now. So the point I wanted to make is that you can do very good dribbling. The goalkeeper starts the ball, kicks it very nicely. It lands on the chest of the midfielder, and the midfielders, they'll play, go in front. And I don't know the numbers now because that was a long time ago. I don't know how it works now. So they get closer there. So you can do the 90% very well, the attitude, but you need to finish, right? You know that guy who finishes? Yeah, it's very important. So the 10%, yes, it's 10%, but it finishes the job. You come in with a good attitude, but the style also that you're going to use will help you finish. Just finish it. It's not much. Just finish. Just, take the goal, the ball across. So the styles that we're going to discuss here are the finishers. They're the things, the tools that you use to get a goal. And then you rejoice, create that quantum of happiness. Remember from the beginning, you need that quantum. So this guy here helps you to create that quantum. So in general, when we look at the styles that are used to negotiate, we can group them into 2 categories. So we have what we call collaborative approaches to negotiation. These are kind of problem-solving approaches. And then you have competitive, adversarial kind of. You remember the two pictures that I showed? A man selling vegetables to a woman, and then the other side, the United States of America. Yeah? The country that God loves the most. Like what the Chancellor College graduates say the university that God loved, the college that God loved the most. Yeah, God bless America. That's what they say. So those two are on two different sides. So that's how you can understand in a simple way how these two groups. But if you break them down further, you come up with 5 negotiation styles. So there's a very good diagram here from ESP. I really like it, ESP. So this is collaboration between USP, Stockholm, and Harvard Business Styles. And by the way, this is where I honed my skills on negotiation. So I attended training at Harvard. And that's when I realized, yeah, universities are supposed to be universities. Our universities needed to go to universities. That time I was at one. By the way, I'm an associate professor at one, so I'm just seconded to government to help them out. So that's where I really realized, yeah, and I learned a lot. I interacted with experts in negotiation. My favorite one was a lady from Israel. We get in touch from time to time. She's really good with negotiation. So you know what's happening in Israel there. She was part of the team that was trying to make sure that those negotiations go well. So this is what happens. You have on the left, so if you can divide here the line, on the left, or what you have in the green, no, I should say on the left, that's more of competitive, adversarial. You are dealing with an adversary. You must defeat them. They are the bad guy. You are good, and you want, the good things. He wants the bad things. On the right-hand side, it's more collaborative. Problem. Let's solve the problem. So you have competitive. I win, you lose. The winner takes it all. That's what you have there. And then you have, I lose, you lose. Who cares? I'll not allow you to win. I know I'm not going to win, but I'm also not going to allow you to win. You lose, I lose. Though everyone goes home empty-handed. There are such people in such situations. And then you have accommodative. Well, I think given the situation, it's fine for you to win this battle. I lose this battle, but I'm setting myself up for winning the war. Right? A war is composed of several battles. Right? So you fight here and another fight there. There's a battle in social. I'm trying to remember cities in Mozambique. In Maputo, another battle is at Esena there, and Tete, another battle. All those battles put together, they make up a war. So you can lose a battle, but you can win the war. You can still win the war. So that's a compromise. Right? And then you have, accommodative. And then you have a compromise where you're saying, well, it's not that I want to completely lose and you win. I win something, you win something. I lose something, you also lose something. But at the end of the day, at least, something, you're carrying something with you. I should mind my chichel, because I have others from Lesotho and Botswana and South Africa who might be online. And opportunity for them, of course, to learn a bit of chichel. So on the y-axis, you have what you want and what your needs are. And there you have, on the x-axis, their wants and their needs. So the compromise is in between, but the top right corner is a collaborative approach. I win, you win. So it is important for you to look for an opportunity and see what kind of style should I use today and now. So we'll be focusing on what we have here first, the first line, when to use it. So for the competitive one, which Trump likes a lot. And sometimes he gets it right. Yeah, he wins. And the other party loses. And they loses big time. So when you have an overwhelming clear advantage and you need the deal to be done quickly and you are involved in a one-off transaction, like I'll never meet this guy again, we'll never discuss business again. So it doesn't matter. If I hurt them today, it's their fault. They should have come here prepared. I'm going to get out of this a happy person. Deal with it, get the deal done, buy your car, enjoy your driving your car. You'll never meet this person again. Wow, they are called Be Forward, whatever. Next time I'm going to buy from, what is the other platform? SBT, yeah, SBT. So I'm going to buy from SBT, so who cares? And that will be 5 years from now. So they will even have forgotten. I got my car at a fair price. If you watch that video of Trump negotiating with Zelensky, I listened, I watched that one, I think a few times. There's a lot you can learn from there. As you will see as we go on. Trump was saying, and even his vice president were like, this is the only way out. This is the only opportunity. You mess this one up, you're in trouble. You'll be finished. Russia will just crush you and will not support you. So get it or forget it. But Zelensky is smart. Well, you can say right now, of course, they're back in there, they're yielding a little bit, but he's very smart. That man, that comedian. Oh, is it a comedian? So this is where you use a competitive accommodating. I lose, you win. This is where when you find yourself in a weak position and the only best way out is to gracefully just say, okay, it's fine for today. I lose this battle. Tomorrow I'm going to win. The war is on my side. I'm definitely going to win. It's better to lose the battle and live to fight the war. That's why we say choose your battles. There are certain battles that are not worth fighting. So these are moments where you say, I think this battle is not worth fighting. So it's fine. Go ahead. I do that sometimes with my kids. Like this one, if I insist, it's not going to help me. It's not going to help him. It's not going to help anyone. So you got it. Be happy. Be the happiest man on earth. Be the happiest girl on earth. It's okay. I know tomorrow I'm going to win the war. Same thing, husband, wife. You come to situations where you're like, you know actually that you are right. And they are misreading and misleading themselves. Or misreading you and misleading themselves. Right? But you see, if you insist, you know how it works, how husbands sometimes react, ladies in the house. And men in the house, you also know sometimes how ladies can react very nicely, politely, giving you a very bad no. And you're going to suffer for it. It's not worth it. Lose that battle, it's okay. Allow them to win. Let them be the happiest woman on earth. But you're going to continue to fight. And next time around, they'll be like, actually, you were right that day. I've seen that work and work very well many times. Avoiding, I lose, you lose. So when the benefit of negotiating outweighs the value of investing time. 2 hours you are discussing, yeah. So, you know, this 2,000 kwacha, for me, 2 hours, You're discussing what? 2,000 kwacha. Should it go to you or should it come to me? Really? Or you're discussing, go home and relax. Maybe that 2 hours would help you make more than 2,000 or 200,000, if not 2 million. So you lose, I lose. Compromising is when you're pushed for time and have a trusting relationship. Be careful to win and lose the right things. So they underscore the words here. You have a trusting relationship. So you know that the other party is not really just trying to take advantage of you. Give in. Say, it's okay. They don't mean to hurt me or harm me. They don't mean to take advantage of me. They genuinely need what they are asking for. Give it to them. And I get a little bit also of what. You can see it even in the attitude that they are using. Then we have the collaborative when the value in the negotiation is substantial. This is why collaborative style of negotiation is the most important, because it deals with negotiations of values that are big, long-lasting, with high risk, long-term. So make sure you are not losing there. Otherwise, the business is going to crash. Your job, you can lose it. Okay. Let's finish with now. Oh, you have chosen a style. Oh, by the way, I should have said this. So you, as you can see, as it is with leadership styles, you choose what type of leadership style to use in a certain situation and environment. So same thing with here. You need a bit of emotional intelligence to choose this one. We have just given you examples of when to use what kind of a style. But overall, be collaborative. But you cannot be collaborative if you're meeting. True? False. You can't be collaborative. Zelensky was collaborative. Of course, he failed to steer it towards the end and I lost a little bit. I wish I had spoken to him before he met him the second time. I would have helped him. So to launch now, get into the negotiation itself, because that's what we're here for. Launching a negotiation efficiently requires that you gather enough information. Who was that? Was that this group? This group, yeah? Yeah. So they gathered adequate information, put it together. And because that information is also necessary for you to establish the next thing, which we call BATNA. BATNA is the best alternative to a negotiated agreement. So what you do is when you gather all the information, you sit down and say, if I don't win, this is what is going to happen, and I'm okay with it. Or this is what is going to happen, I'm not okay with this. What can I do? No, this one, no. If I don't win, this. Let's say you are selling something. You're selling. Let me use an example of fish. So you're selling fish. Your negotiated, your best alternative to a negotiated agreement would be okay. If this guy refuses to buy this fish at 50,000 a dozen, what am I going to do with this fish? So that's the best alternative to a negotiated. So the best alternatives, or no, not the best. The alternatives can be: one, eat it myself. Two, give it to others on loan. Three, but then you ask further questions. If I give it to others on loan, will I have enough money to go and buy again? So you need to sit down and assess your best alternative, so that you find the best alternative to a negotiated agreement. Quite often, you will find that it ends up with something very much related to what you are looking for. So in this case, it will come back to, I think I can accept to sell this fish for 35,000 kwacha. That's my best alternative. So whatever agreement I'm going to make, it should be something that's not less than 35,000 kwacha. So that 5,000 kwacha becomes your best alternative to a negotiated agreement. And then you're going in there and you're saying, okay, I'm not going to get less than this. This is where now it becomes tricky and nasty sometimes. And then you have to engage in dialogue. What was the other group that used the dialogue? It was that one, yeah. You engage in dialogue. Dialogue is very important. That's where if I was to get ahead of myself, I would say one of the best tools when it comes to engaging in the negotiation is dialogue. Dialogue is very, very important. So you must coach it well. That's why I prefer sitting with someone as they prepare. I've coached quite a number of people as they went for interviews, and some salary increments, some negotiating with partners. There was a I hope they are not online. The example I wanted to give. So there were two people. They were not in Lilongwe. They were very far from Lilongwe. I won't mention it, but it's very far from Lilongwe. And they disagreed, and they were about to commit suicide. So it was like a girlfriend, boyfriend. I hope the one deceified. Boyfriend, girlfriend, and it was bad. So the boy discovered that this lovely, so sweet girlfriend was actually also a very, very good sweetheart to someone else. Maybe sweetheart to someone else. You can imagine how that would break your heart. So, but they were very far from here. And then they sent me. I happened to know both of them. So they notified me, we are here, we are in this situation. Actually, the boy had locked himself up, if I'm remembering clearly the details, locked himself up and had actually taken a knife from the kitchen. And he's saying, I'm going to just kill myself here. And the girl was crying, and like, if you kill yourself, I also have, what is that chemical? Yeah, Marcosway. Tremic, yeah. Look, me also, you kill yourself with a knife, I'm going to drink. No, it was not Tremic. I think he had drugs, like from the hospital, an overdose. So it was actually, she, like, with them and a cup of water. There's like, you kill yourself, I'm drinking. Like, no, you cannot drink. It's like, okay, fine, then don't drop the knife. No, because you are not a bad. It was going on like that. Now, then the cars are moving fast, right? This is hyper. And everyone is in hyper. And they're not here. I would need at least to drive for 5 hours to get to where they were. So they notified me. Well, by God's grace, I got into my negotiation vehicle, negotiated with myself, found something like a partner for me. I thought about the two of them, what was at stake for the girl, what was at stake for the boy, and what was at stake for us, me representing everyone else, the relatives and everything else. So figured out, coached out my partner, and I to convince them to hold on their suicide do I come. So they were able to hold the suicide, like, yeah, we will still commit suicide, but after you have. Yeah, good. You can say they were not serious, but I tell you, I went there. Many doctors agree with me. When you look at a person who is about to die, you can tell, you can see that this person, I think they're about to die. They're about to give up the ghost. That's the situation I found both of them in. I stood there, look at them. They were like more like, the spirit is just hovering around them. Like, yeah, we were taught to leave, but we're just hanging around here in case they want us back. That's the situation they were in. It was very tense. Long story short, we went there. Because I created a best alternative to a negotiated agreement for both of them. And then all of us brought all those to all of us, and we came to a point where they did not. Today they are alive. Of course, they are not together, but this one is married. The other one is also married. But at least they did not commit suicide. Right? Dialogue becomes very, very important. You engage them, bring them across the bridge so that you create value together. I think that's where we really, really made success or realized success. It was when all of us now, we were engaged in a discussion where we were now creating value for all of us together. It contributes. At first, they were like, no, I don't want to hear anything from you. No, no. And then we started talking, and he was talking, and she was talking, and I was listening and talking a little bit, coaching the negotiation going forward. Then you can close the deal. So the goal really is to find the facts and not perceptions when you are creating value, when you are engaging in a dialogue. The options that mean something good, better than what they are thinking of or what they are perceiving. So you bring facts on the table, not perceptions. That's what they did. The currency is like this. Things are fluctuating like this. So you educate your opponent. In this case, I was trying to solve this problem between the two of them. This is where now you can also apply the principle of the 18th camel that I skipped earlier on. So the principle of the 18th camel, what it says is that there was a rich man who left camels with his family. He died, so he had left a will. And in his will, he had written that when I'm gone, divide these camels among us, my oldest son, my daughter, and my wife. So there are 3 beneficiaries. So he said, give half of the camels to my firstborn, 1/3 to my daughter, and 1/9 to my wife. What do you think? Was that a fair will? I want to hear from women who are in this room. Will you be happy with that kind of a will? Like 1/9 is for you, half is for the firstborn son. You're okay because they are your kids, right? They'll still be with you. That half you can also partake of it. That 1/3 you can also partake of it. And that 1/9 you can decide to eat it yourself because they already have some. Right? So it's okay, isn't it? This was a wise man. Now the time came for these people to share the camels. They counted the camels, they went to the crow. The camels were 17 in number. What is half of 17? The son wanted his half of the 17. What is half of 17? How many camels? Not possible. Okay, the daughter's like, yeah, for me, it's 1/3. It's written there, 1/3, right? Yes, 1/3. Give me 1/3. What is 1/3 of 17? Not possible. The wife was like, for me, it's 1/9, nothing less. 1/9 of 17 doesn't work. So what do we do? And they were quarreling. No, so we kill. No, but you cannot kill. No, it has to be. It's clear in here. Moreover, you were already getting a lot, half. Maybe you give us a bit of the fraction. That's for me. So they approached an old wise man who was also a relative in the village. He said, come help us out. These people can't negotiate. We have these 17 camels. So this wise man, he stood there, looked at the situation, thought through, and since in this place, these people had camels, he just said, wait a minute. Went home, brought the 18th camel. So he brought his 18th camel, put it in Mukola Muja. So they are like, yeah, what does the will say? Firstborn, how many? Oh, half, okay? What is half of 18? 9? So you get your 9 camels. Get them, give him his 9 camels. Everyone clap us. Yay! He got his 9. Yeah, this is now fair. You know? This is now fair. Daughter, you said 1/3? Yeah, 1/3. Okay, fine. 1/3 of 18 is how much? 6? Yeah, 6. So you got your 1/3. 6. Yeah! Okay. Hey, mom, it was how much? 1/9. 1/9 of 18 is? 1/9 of 18? 2, 3. 2, huh? There's 2, huh? There's 2, huh? 2. So the 2. So I could not get less. Not 1 point something. That's very unfair. Moreover, I'm already getting less. 2, yes. 2 is 1/9 of. Thank you very much, God. It's 2. So she got 2. The daughter got 6. The son got 9 plus 6. 15 plus 2. And the old man got back his 18th camel and went back home. That's a mathematician. End of the story. Deal done, right? The story. So the point is that they say, there's a saying that, can you enlarge the pie? Sometimes to solve the problem, you have to enlarge the pie. Bring in extra value. You will not lose. You still own it. So as a negotiator, when you're going to meet those people, be willing to put your life on the line for their sake. They want to chop that neck. You come out alive. But you will have sorted out the issue at hand. And what's the last point thing here I want to say? Okay, yeah. These are just tools that you can use. Yeah, we'll finish with this. These are the tools now. You got the actual techniques. Now, when you're going in there, what are the tools that you use? So please be sure to watch the how you can negotiate for 100% pay rise on our YouTube. It's called The Secret Door 2. That's the name of the YouTube channel. Be sure you log in and watch that one. It explains some of these things very well. So there are, I think, seven principles to talk about, and then we will end the show there. Brinkmanship is where you force your opponent to the edge, where they feel like if they don't take it, they will collapse. That's what Trump did, right? Zelensky, if you don't take this, Ukraine is finished. Okay? High ball, low ball, you present a very high value or a very low value. The aim is that you want to bring the other person closer. From wherever they are, you want to bring them closer to your expected value. An example is, and I use this one a lot. Nowadays, when I'm with my wife, I know that she always says, "Sir, negotiate. You know how to do it." So, I think let me give an example. A good example of this one is this friend of mine. So, I hope you can recognize the person who is enjoying there. But I was not just enjoying there. You see what is happening there? The next thing I'm going to do there is to what? Negotiate a corner. To do it, they said, but the only man we have, they were talking about how much? Like 20. I know this man, this land, because it's enclosed here, is going to make it expensive. But can you help us to negotiate well? Now, he's finished praying, and that man walked in, and he put the chair exactly where he knelt to pray, so that this opponent should sit there where the anointing of negotiation is. And he sat there, and the negotiation started. And he was very kind. He was like, "Yeah, we really want to buy this land." And the guy was quick. He's like, "Yeah, so if you want to buy this land, this is prime land, so $75,000 US. Remember what the amount that the church said would be willing to pay? Nothing less more than 25 or something like that. Okay? So my friend, you're not just making it up. First reactions we do with our bodies are mostly genuine, right? That's what you're communicating with them. That no, it's not just about that they want to negotiate for less. No, they really mean it. I think this has come as a surprise. Already, you are working on their psychology. You're telling them, "You're too fast, sir. That's unfair." That's why, that's the other point. The best negotiation should be done face to face. Serious things, do them face to face. Less serious and less risky, less value, you can do it. The next best thing is on the phone. The last thing is an email. Okay? So, because the body cues matter. And this is where you use them. So the flinching technique, you flinch, so he flinched and went quite like frozen. And the guy was like, He feels guilty already. So, but how much were you thinking about? He is asking. And this is also a trick to push them to do what you are not supposed to do. So if you are the one negotiating from now onwards, make sure you avoid double offers in a row. So don't offer and say, if you think that is too high, 75, then let's consider. You're putting yourself in a very weak position. First of all, you're communicating that you are not serious in the first place. You're just testing them. But this guy is smart, he's flinching to force you to do exactly that you should make another offer. So he did exactly that, but he did it also in a smart way. He said, "How much were you thinking about?" And David was like, "Now, let's negotiate here." Did you know that, again, coming back to the educating your opponent, that piece of land, according to the rules of this county and the categories of land, it's non productive land. We are not supposed, we cannot put up a factory, we cannot do anything there. So the category of it is actually non-productive. And for non-productive, because we know that it's non-productive, we were not even thinking of what you're saying. Actually, we were thinking like it would be like between 8,000 and 10,000 euros or so. This one said 75,000. And then he says, now he's playing high ball, low ball. So the other guy was playing high ball. This one is playing low ball. There's a difference now. How do we bridge this difference? So he said, yeah, so I mean, if you're going to look at what the law says, really, you cannot, because this land, you can't really. So for us, we really want it for a loan, like a car park, we are squeezed a little bit. He's giving information and helping the other person to cross over and think like them and feel like them and feel for them. The guy went like, yeah, but that's really, no. I mean, like, it's like, yeah, I mean, really, and we are not a profit-making organization. We are just here as a church, this and that. Long story short, the guy said, okay, give me 25. Let's end it there. So David was like, he couldn't believe it even himself. He was like, what? He was asking himself, what? 75, 25? What has done this is the low ball technique. Because I'm past 8 to 10, he had past 75. This person, if he's sane, he's not going to say, okay, give me 65. No, it doesn't work like that. So long story short, they bought the piece of land for 23 or so, if I'm not mistaken. But it started at 75. Usually when I'm buying things, if you're offering me 50,000, next time you're offering me 50,000, you should know that I'm not going to buy that for 50,000. Grace, you should know that. So if you say 50,000, I come in there, I'm going to tell you. So this is now, it's part of the technique again. What you do is that you give them a range, okay? And give them a range, and the upper limit of your range should be less than what you are prepared to pay. That's what David did. 8 to 10. But remember, the board of trustees had said we can pay up to how much? 20-something. And this guy came from 75 to? The technique worked. So you give a range, your upper range should be less than what you are prepared to pay. So if I'm prepared to buy something for 40,000 and the vendor is saying 65, you know what I do? I tell them, my friend, this thing cannot cost anything. Did I say how much? I'm prepared to pay how much? 40,000. I said 40, right? I'm going to tell them, my friend, this thing can't even cost 30. I think it should be 20, 25 up to 30 or something there. Best you can do is 35. I mean, there's nothing special with this thing. You really want to sell or you're just joking around? You're just bluffing. He bluffs, I bluff back. And it's like, yeah, and the other tricks that you want to move, yeah? If you're in a car. You are creating agency. Make a decision. You don't have time to waste. So you do that, and then you say, so end of the, I'll tell them that, and then I finish it as follows. So I'm willing to pay 40, I said, right? So he's at 65. The moment I say 25 to 30, he's going to come down to 60 or 55. Okay? So let's say he has come down to 55. I'm going to push it a little bit more and say, wow, maybe then, yeah, maybe 32. Otherwise, the 2,000 for me was for something to, And then they're like, no way, it's not possible. It can't happen. So this is how I finish it. I tell them, okay, what is your last? Because I already know they don't have a last. They are keeping on changing. They don't have. So I have a partner, best alternative to a negotiated agreement. They don't. So I throw it there before them. How much you have at last? And then they come and say, okay, you can give us 50. I'm like, okay, 50, fine. You remember what I told you in the first place? I was prepared for me to pay 20, 25, maximum 30. Now, since 30 was my prepared price that I was going to pay, and you're asking for 50, let's be fair to each other. You're my brother, You want to do business. I also want to buy something. I want to be happy. Fair business. I'm at 30. You are at 50. You walk 10 miles. I walk 10 miles. If I walk 10 miles towards 50, where do I land? 40. If she walks, or he walks 10 miles towards me, where does he land? 40. Deal. And I produce the cash right away there. He won't resist. I got it. From 65. So that's what you also do as you go with this process. So fringing is that one. Then there's scoring. Scoring is a technique that you use to manage emotions. But also at the same time, you gain control. So when someone is angry, now Zelensky used this one. You saw Trump was like, this is the best. And Vance here, DJ Vance is like, you are being disrespectful, this and that. Zelensky was like, yeah, but when you look at this, use calm and you use deep, low voice. For ladies, I don't know how deep you can make it, but you make use of low voice. Lower your voice. The moment you lower your voice, you see right now, as I'm lowering, everyone is paying attention, right? So you control the negotiation, the discussion. You're lowering the voice, they pay more attention, right? Let me not miss, what are they saying? Because they're saying it at a low voice. So you gain control. You're like, I think the best way for us, I'm sure you're interested in a deal as much as I'm interested in a deal. And I think the best way for us to move forward would be that we have a fair discussion. Don't you think that maybe we should take a bit of time that you can cool off? I can actually wait. If you want us to continue today, I can wait, give you a bit of time to chill, and then we can come back. The moment you do that, you're putting them in a weak position, that they are the ones spoiling the negotiation. You are the serious one. And that immediately makes them to come back to their senses. And they're like, no, well, I'm sorry for, whatever happened. And, sometimes also say sorry on their behalf. I do that quite often, and it works a lot. You know how I trained myself to do that? I trained myself because I taught myself that when I stumble, you stumble, and them old days we are walking barefoot, stumble, so I taught myself I won't curse, I'll bless. So when I stumble, I'm like, if someone stumbles, what are you supposed to do? You say, sorry. So I told myself when I stumble, I say, sorry. So even if it's not, so I say sorry on behalf of other people as well, when something unfortunate happens. So that works a lot. I don't lose anything. Sorry, you don't lose anything. It's just like sorry, I love you, thank you. Those are 3 words that you always want to keep. I tell people when I'm counseling couples that keep your pocket full of this. When you wake up in the morning, fill your pocket with sorry, thank you, I love you, for married couples. For those who are not married yet, you can keep the other one in the safe. You can't use that for now yet. There'll be a time for you to use that one. Okay, let's finish. Bogey technique. I like this one. Bogey technique, sometimes it sounds a little bit like unfair. What you do is that when you are negotiating and you see that this one is really tough, I think for me to convince him or her is going to be tough. You look for a very trivial matter in the or aspect of the negotiation and make it look so important. So you inflate the value of that little thing. For example, you're in a negotiation for, let's say, salaries. Should we say salaries? No. Let me come back to business. I love business also. I'm trying. So the same. You remember I told you that we paid 50%? Yeah. So when the negotiation was hot and this lady was like, the price of the rand, the rate of the rand is going haywire and this and that. We have paid a lot of money. So as part of the negotiation, I said, no, we understand that. I think really, and if the potatoes really get spoiled, it's not really your fault. They say, although you could have, of course, transported them better. The way potatoes are supposed to be stored Tell us, how do you help others when you work with us? You say, because you said you supply to food lovers and all them places. How do you? And it was like, no, that's not part of my business. It's their business. And I was like, okay, it's their business. Are you sure? What makes a potato rot? And she's thinking, well, I mean, it depends on how you. I said, like, what about the conditions, the pre-storage conditions? In fact, if you look, so I picked one potato. I think I pointed at it. Look at that potato there. There's a spillage of paint on that potato. That shows that you did not take very good care of them when you're transporting them. And that is spreading to the rest. In fact, if in 2 days we have this spoilage, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen in 3 days' time, because we want to use all this potato today. So I took a point, because she was right. Really, I mean, it's our responsibility to take it. We should have put them in a freezer. It would have halted the process of rotting. So sometimes you take a trivial matter and say, in a negotiation for salary, you would be saying, sir, oh, madam. I think I'll take an example for us who are at Luanda. You're negotiating for salary. No, I shouldn't use an exact one that I used the other time. It may create a misquote. You give me this job, but there's no house here, at Luanda. If the registrar is clever, he should be asking you, when you were applying for this job, did you not know that there are no houses? Right? But of course, you can also counter that. So you can counter that, and out of that, create an opportunity for you, therefore, because what you can say is that there's no house, proper house here, and if I have to rent, the houses here are not nice, so I have to rent in town and find a nice house there. And that means every day I have to be coming here. Now, if I'm a director, I think it's unfair for me to be squashing myself on that bus with everyone else. I think for this position, you really need to consider that there should be a car and fuel, of course, for it, because having a car alone does not. You are taking them off. You're taking a trivial matter that if they are really smart, they should be saying, sir, there's no negotiation there, because when you're coming here, you knew there would be there are no houses, they have no house allowance. But you can drag it, trivialize a point, make it look bigger, and then at the end, you're going to turn around and say, so you trade away, you say. But now, since you cannot give a car and you cannot give me fuel, raise the. Have you helped him? Yes, because he can't do what the policy doesn't allow him to do. But definitely he can be allowed to raise the salary, because every salary scale has notches. So you're saying, so instead of starting me on notch 1, start me on notch 9 or 10. I joined a certain big organization, international organization here in Malawi. I started at the bar. You know what bar means, eh? Yeah. That was not bar for that office only, but bar for any local office. So I had people there who had worked for 15 years. They had even qualified for going to stay in the US. I'm told, oh, I've now reviewed. It was USID. Maybe that's why Trump closed it. So if that was the one there. And then I was placed at the back. We were there for many years. Colleagues who also had a PhD like me, we were there. I went there and surpassed them and left them behind. Like, yeah, we are here. Work hard. You'll find us here. We are at par. But when I was going there, HR told me it's not possible. You are just starting. It's not possible. I don't believe in impossibilities. All things are possible. So there I was, I did that, and it worked. And guess what? When I went in there, I also initiated a discussion where I said it is unfair for you not to recognize the value of local staff, that you can't make them deputy directors or indeed directors. They said, no, foreign policy, it can't happen. I said, look here, why do you employ people? Why have you brought me here? You have seen the value that I am bringing to your organization. Not me, the value. The value doesn't change because I'm Malawian. It remains the same. So if I'm bringing the value, recognize the value. Guess what? Oh, I did not stay there for too long because the government had to snatch me out of there. But guess what? 6 months or a year later, that discussion reverberated with everyone else, and then that went even around the world. And boom, the next thing, someone called me. That position of yours that you wanted for a deputy director, they are now advertising for it. Congress has approved that local staff can now also become deputy directors, and that increases the grade level and the salary, of course. I was like, I should have stayed. Because now with the dollar rate, I would have been, you said you paid twice a month. Every 2 weeks you get a salary. Ping. Now I was calculating. But anyway, long story short, that's what you do when you're negotiating. Oh, the very Nibo is the bad one, but it's like a mouse. You know what it does. It's like it's a little bit. You just nibble at something. You don't really feel it can even nibble at those of us who also grew up in the village. Sometimes I don't know whether because we were not cooling enough, cleaning ourselves enough. Sometimes a mouse would come to the chitende and do a little bit. Don't know. Well, we come from different situations. So that's nibbling. So what you do is that you have negotiated, you remember, but there's this little thing here. I think if I would get that one, that would really be great. Not a big one. It's not a winner's curse. No. Here you are just looking at, no. For convenience, I think this one would help us. So you come and say, oh, excuse me, by the way, when we are negotiating, we forgot that actually airtime, I think because I'll be talking a lot, my role requires that I should be talking a lot. And I'm not sure if you offer airtime or not, but I think for me to be really effective and I'm really ready to make sure that this works, the plan is that maybe every 2 weeks I'll be talking to clients and following up on them. I think a airtime, any amount will do as long as something that suffices, with the data rates of nowadays. So anything, you can look at your salary scale and those that are getting airtime and think of whatever you want to offer me. You have already started and you know that the lowest there of your grade gets 70,000 or 100,000. And the minimum you're talking about is that, and you want it, you're giving it to them again. It's like, that's not a big deal. You've already signed a contract, you're a great person, we want you on board. Recently, we had such a salary negotiation with someone, and I think they used that trick, and we also tricked him back, and we had a win-win situation. So that's nibbling, the nibble technique that we are talking about. If things don't work and they seem hard, postpone the negotiation. Can we agree when to continue with this negotiation? Or if you think that person is too Trumpian, you can ask from the negotiation body, the client, and say, can I have someone else discuss with me this deal? Because we don't seem to understand each other very well with the other guy. Or the better way is saying that I don't seem to understand him very well. Put the blame on you. And they know they are people, so they understand what you mean. They'll say, yeah, well, let's see. They'll bring in someone else. Or you can ask for a third party. Can you bring a third party who will sit in the veranda and look at both of us and say, yeah, I think it's not fair. To be fair, this should go as far. No lose, no avoidance, no compromise. Just walk away. Say, thank you. It was good to discuss with you. If the offer is less than your partner, remember your partner? Best alternative to a negotiated agreement. If the offer they are making and insisting on is lower than that, walk away because you have a best alternative. And that is that you take that fish, take it to your friends, and you explain to your friends, someone said, and then you know the way the Malawians do it. People, this guy, he said he was going to buy, but all of a sudden turned around. Yeah, so will you just help me out? Otherwise, this fish is going to rot. So, I'm just giving it, but also you can pay at the end of the month. You have already calculated what price you're going to give, and that whatever you're going to get out of this is much better than what they are offering you. So walking away is also a deal. What is this now? Assessing. Okay, this one you can read. I'll share with you the presentation. This is a way for you to assess whether your negotiation was effective. So you are reflecting on it after the negotiation. If you have any questions, you can ask me on any of these, and I'll be able to share with you. So, yeah, negotiation is everyday business. Remember, negotiatus in Latin is everyday business, right? Negocios in Spanish is business. So your business, your personal business or professional business, it requires negotiation. And every day you negotiate. But you must come with a positive attitude, believing that there's a solution. Be open and willing to co-create value together with your colleague after you have determined your best alternative to a negotiated agreement, and you're coming in there really to engage in a dialogue and make sure that you come up with a win-win. If it doesn't work, pull out that spanner, the right spanner, for that kind of a bout and that kind of a situation. You definitely are gonna win. These principles work and these styles work. I think on this note, I want to say thank you very much for coming. And if you have any questions, you can ask. But I think we can leave it there. I don't know if there's any comment or question online that we can address. Otherwise, I really appreciate that we were able to come. And that finally, we have launched the JV Inspire series. I wanted to talk about this. So we will be having both trainings but also motivational talks. So next time you see it, invite a friend, recommend us to your friend. Don't tell them that sometimes they have trouble with technology, but tell them that sometimes when they have struggles with technology, they figure it out somehow. They know how to negotiate. So thank you very much. I really, really appreciate. Any questions or any comments? Great. Thanks for the team also for the arrangements. We can also talk over the snacks that are over there. I think I will leave things on this note. Thanks very much, our audience, our online audience, for bearing with us and still joining in. I checked at some point, there were about 24 viewers, and I'm so excited that we were able to do this. We're going to have more. And next time, like I told you, I think we're going to try and do this in the evenings, early evenings, and maybe work days so that more people do this. I had colleagues really who complained, like, no, you should have done this in the evening, and we are going to attend. Plenty of colleagues. So we hope that next time we'll be able to have more people come again. And like I said, I'm open to support you with any negotiation coaching that you need for free, since you're the first group. And yeah, we hope to see you next time. If there's any specific topic that you also want us to talk about, you let us know. I chose to start with negotiation because it matters. It's everyday business, and it affects everything that we do. With those remarks, I really want to say thank you. Thanks, PK, the team there, Medeka. No, I was about to call you Medeka team. The Soul to Infinity team. It's good you managed to figure out something. I want to appreciate our team there from Open Education Institute. We have parts of there. We have Grace there, Grace 1, Grace 2. I don't know which one is Grace 1 and which one is Grace 2. There, I always work with and have grace, a lot of grace. So thank you very much for the work you've done. I really appreciate. God bless you all. Without you, this would not have happened. So I want to say thank you. God bless you till we meet again next time. Bye-bye. Was this yours or mine? Yours is finished. You want another one? Okay. Can I have a humble request that we do a group photo somewhere here? And then we do that.
And also, if possible, we can create a community where we can also be getting some updates. Because some of us, because we knew you, we had to see from your status.
That's right. That's right. So, Grace. Yes, yes. So I have details, except for. Did you register online or not? With here. Great, excellent. So we'll use that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Huh? You too? Oh, thank you for helping. Thank you for helping. Yeah. Yeah. Pastor Grace 1, Grace 2, come over. Oh,